Hi, and welcome to the day before Thanksgiving. It's early this year, and it seems like it just snuck up on all of us. And we're delighted that you're joining us on this Wednesday, November 22nd. That was when JFK was shot, too, right? 51 years ago, I think. Is it 51? I think it's 51 years. Yep, last year was 51 years ago.
You can have this whole done by yourself.
Exactly.
Yes.
Perfect.
I'm your host, Diane Havinga, and we have with us our gurus of health and fitness, Sheri Nidiffer, who is our nurse practitioner and regional director of the Employee Health and Wellness Center.
That's
a lot coming out.
It is. And of course, Juanita Kuntz, everyone knows Juanita, who will be helping us with fitness tips. Okay. We're going to get you ready not only for tomorrow, but also for the rest of the holidays. And before we get started with our tips, we thought we would take a look at the Center for Disease Control. Thank you. They did a video a few years ago about helpful tips to get you through the holidays, and we just love it, so we're going to air it right now and get us in the mood for what we have to talk about.
This program is presented by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
The first way to health, said the CDC to me, wash hands to be safe and healthy. The second way to health, said the CDC to me, bundle up for warmth and wash hands to be safe and healthy. The third way to health, said the CDC to me, manage stress, bundle up for warmth and wash hands to be safe and healthy. The fourth way to health, said the CDC to me, don't drink and drive, manage stress, bundle up for warmth and wash hands to be safe and healthy. The fifth way to health, said the CDC to me, be smoke-free. Don't drink and drive, manage stress, bundle up for warmth and wash hands to be safe and healthy. The sixth way to health, said the CDC to me, fasten belts while driving, be smoke-free. Don't drink and drive, manage stress, bundle up for warmth and wash hands to be safe and healthy. The seventh way to health, said the CDC to me, get exams and screenings, fasten belts while driving, be smoke-free. Don't drink and drive, manage stress, bundle up for warmth and wash hands to be safe and healthy. The eighth way to health, said the CDC to me, get your vaccinations, get exams and screenings, fasten belts while driving, be smoke-free. Don't drink and drive, manage stress, bundle up for warmth and wash hands to be safe and healthy. The ninth way to health, said the CDC to me, monitor the children, get your vaccinations, get exams and screenings, fasten belts while driving, be smoke-free. Don't drink and drive, manage stress, bundle up for warmth and wash hands to be safe and healthy. The 10th way to health, said the CDC to me, practice fire safety, monitor the children, get your vaccinations, get exams and screenings, fasten belts while driving, be smoke-free. Don't drink and drive, manage stress, bundle up for warmth and wash hands to be safe and healthy. The 11th way to health, said the CDC to me, prepare dinner safely, practice fire safety, monitor the children, get your vaccinations, get exams and screenings, fasten belts while driving, be smoke-free. Don't drink and drive, manage stress, bundle up for warmth and wash hands to be safe and healthy. The 12th way to health, said the CDC to me, eat well and get moving, prepare dinner safely, practice fire safety, monitor the children, get your vaccinations, get exams and screenings, fasten belts while driving, be smoke-free. Don't drink and drive, manage stress, bundle up for warmth and wash hands to be safe and healthy.
Ta-da! Okay, we're done. We don't need to talk about any of that.
No.
But one of the things that I thought was interesting, that they talked about getting vaccines or making sure that you're up to date, but haven't most of us already gotten all our vaccines, so we don't have to worry about that?
Well, what is the most important vaccine this time of year?
Flu.
Flu.
Oh, okay.
Right,
flu. I was
right.
thinking more pneumonia and shingles.
So right. So what they found is that your immunity, because we are living longer, your immunity is waxing and waning as the years go on. Plus, a lot of people are getting a little bit more complicated autoimmune kind of diseases. So it's good to check with your doctor to find out when you should have an immunization. But varicella is the one. So you're talking about the shingles vaccine while we were listening to it, and then the pneumococcal vaccine. So it's really good to talk to your doctor about those vaccines, because and I didn't even think about this, the tetanus shot should be given once every 10 years. So there's always new things that come out with vaccines, so just have that touch point with your doctor, once a year, and they should be able to tell you what you need.
Great. So, as we mentioned, Turkey Day's tomorrow. We're going to be a little bit maybe, not so many people here, because other people are probably doing the cooking, whereas staff is probably actually doing the cooking. So the stress level kind of goes up a little bit, and it's like, when am I going to get time to exercise? And I'm supposed to manage stress. I'm supposed to don't drink and drive, which I won't because I'll be cooking. But so, how about, what are your thoughts about all that, right? What's the one thing that you think we need to be doing?
Oh, the one thing.
I know I usually throw that
I
at
thought I
the
had
end.
like 10 things.
Oh, 10 things. Okay, never mind. Well, what are some of the
And
things?
as you normally do, you send us all this nice work, the nice information that we can find. And so we've reviewed it and come up with a couple tips. But I have to say, I was just at a providers conference last week, and the one thing they talked about was sleep and how important it is. And I know everybody has kind of seen and heard a little bit more about how sleep can really help you. But some of the things that this was saying, which was really good, I didn't even think about it, is somebody in the three of us really likes hot chocolate.
What? Me?
So
Yes, I do.
is that a
She
good?
can eat some hot chocolate, drink some hot chocolate.
But maybe not so close to bedtime.
Right, so
Because of
there
the caffeine.
the hidden caffeine in hot chocolate, in the cocoa.
Versus if I ate a chocolate bar before, would that
Same
still be?
thing.
Same thing.
So no
So
hot.
you
if
can
you're
have
thirsty.
it, but just remember that it has caffeine, so probably earlier in your evening,
Like,
because
don't
you don't
they
want
say
it to.
like before 3 you should start, or after 3 you should start limiting
Wow.
the caffeine?
Do
or
they
something.
say
Wow,
3?
that early?
Wow.
Oh.
I didn't know that. Wow. Okay.
I think everybody's different with that.
I think they are. I think they
no,
are.
Everybody is different, though, truly. So what might affect you, it won't you or won't me. So we all have those different times where we want to not have the caffeine. But
that's a sneaky little thing. The other thing that some of this was saying that I also didn't think about, they said skip the sliders. But the idea, because I was thinking, okay, that's extra calories. But actually what they're talking about is when you're eating protein, like the things that are in sliders is usually the hamburgers or the beef, or your body actually breaks down. It takes it a little bit longer to break it down. So those things are probably better to eat towards the lunchtime. Maybe that's a good rule to have, not after 3. Because if your body's trying to break that down and you're trying to sleep, unfortunately, that goes also with alcohol. So we were joking about this before we talked about it. You could little tricks to alcohol, like make sure you have it on rocks, so you
Right,
feel
don't
like
take a shot.
Don't take a shot, so you feel like you're having a little bit more, and you can sip it a little bit more.
And it dilutes
And
it a
it
little
dilutes it.
Ice cubes more.
But to stop a little bit sooner, a lot of people will say, I need a drink before I go to bed to help relax me. But actually, once you just get to sleep, your body is metabolizing that alcohol. So you actually don't sleep
disturbing your
well with
sleep.
alcohol. So maybe, a glass of wine or something with dinner. And then you just be really slow through the evening, which is hard because all the parties are in the evenings. But if you want to sleep, which will really increase your lifespan, sleep is so important. So
I think another key, just to take off on that, is the alcohol. It's better to eat while you're drinking. Don't just drink, on an empty stomach, because you're definitely going to get that buzz fast. So do sip and have like wine with dinner.
Because I remember someone at my wedding asking an aunt, is there calories in wine?
Oh.
Yeah, the aunt said, no way. And so the gal was dieting, and well, let me just say, she appeared at my parents' the next morning, and I couldn't figure out, why is this woman on my parents' couch?
It was the calories.
The ER people came, and she spent the night in the hospital until my parents picked her up and brought her. Yeah, so she evidently, boom, she was guzzling stuff, thinking there was no calories in wine.
But I did see just last night on USA Today that Weight Watchers, and please don't run out and get this wine because I don't know all the details, but it says they're coming up with a Weight Watchers wine.
They'll probably just do. It's like the light beer.
And I'll try to bring it in for us to share next time. But I'm in Weight Watchers, so I was like, ooh, Weight Watchers wine. Anyway, that was interesting.
Right. So the other thing, and kind of concentrating right now on the health thing. So the CDC, now as you go into the washrooms at Green Spring, there's a nice little sign about keeping you healthy. But that whole washing hands, is that as important as it's being stressed?
Yeah, it was like the number one thing the CDC was singing about. So you heard it 12 times on that video.
Yes.
It's really important because you have so much bacteria. And a lot of people, when you're younger or maybe when you start talking about germs, they use like the antibacterial soap. We do have good bacteria that are on our hands. But it's amazing how much bacteria. So even if we shook hands, I'm going to transfer that bacteria to you. So if I had sick kids at home or something and didn't wash my hands appropriately, I've now passed that to you, which is why sometimes even the flu is so contagious. So a lot of people have adopted just the fist bump. That's the hello, because there's not as much bacteria that passes. So it's so important. The number one thing, you could do for anything, for any time of season, which is why we got to hear it 12 times on there.
Great. And one thing when we were comparing notes that I liked was that, if you don't get into the gym, it's okay. And I'm like, really? So I can skip my exercise that day?
Well, okay.
You're stuttering.
So I'm stuttering because when we're talking about sleep, holidays bring a lot of things to mind for people. One, stress. One, they're staying up late to wrap presents or cook food and they're not getting their sleep. They're eating stuff that they shouldn't. So, snacking to stay awake or drinking to stay awake. And like you were saying, you're going to try to ease off because digestion, you need that. So I know they say you can lay off. Yes, you could lay off at home and put on a video at home. It doesn't necessarily mean you don't have time to get in your car or maybe here, walk down the residence here, walk to the fitness center and back. That's like 20 minutes, let's say, for them. So instead, put on a Channel 6 video. It's a 30-minute video, and they can do it in their home, and they're done. Instead of 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back, and then a half an hour in the gym, that's maybe too much time. For the same thing for all of us, staff, we and our residents, we all need exercise because it helps us sleep. We all need exercise because you have a cascade of feel-good chemicals when you exercise. So it elevates our mood. So, and then it helps us make the right choices about what we're going to drink or what we're going to eat. Because when you're depressed, you don't really care. So I think that's what makes exercise so important, is that it elevates our mood to help us make better choices. It helps us sleep, which we all need that. It helps, of course, those of us that have arthritis, my knee's been killing me. Once I did my low impact class today, it felt better because of the exercise. So many of us come colder weather. I really would like it gone the day after. January 2nd, I want it 70. But, it affects our joints. It affects I feel like I'm chilled now. I'm chilled. So for so many of our residents, they're chilled, they don't feel like moving. But if we move, then that gets the blood going, that helps, that warms up the bursa sacs and the synovial fluid in your joints. You feel better. So I would say you've got to do something.
So is there one movement I should be doing regardless?
Well, I think the number one movement is walking for all of us.
And it doesn't matter if I walk really fast or I kind of take my time?
You know,
or?
again, I would say you have arthritis, you start slow, you walk slow till that gets warmed up. And then when you feel good, then you can increase your stride and not really your stride, your cadence. So you're walking faster. And then to get the blood going. It's gonna warm you up, it's gonna make every joint feel better. And then probably you wanna stretch out. Because so many of us wanna be just like this. We're cold, you'll see this. But if we can stretch out, open up, that's gonna alleviate a lot of the painful joints and your low back and, So I would say move, walk, stretch.
All right. Well, that sounds good.
And I was with some friends last night, and they were saying, well, you guys can come over. We have this family tradition. Every Thanksgiving at 11 o'clock, we go bowling.
Oh, how fun.
11
And
o'clock
so,
in the morning or
no,
11 o'clock at night?
at night.
Oh, okay.
But it was interesting because, she said, I know it's kind of silly. And then, in the stuff that you sent us, it said, make a
Family
movement family tradition. So bowling isn't a lot, but it is something. So that's kind of, nice, and it's the family. So these young kids that they're raising and the grandkids, they're going to say, well, this is what we used to do. So there's activity involved. Because I don't know if anybody's house is like mine. The next day we're just sitting around waiting for the football games, and so, you're just sitting around, talking and getting to know each other. But how about a walk or the family tradition? Because you always do a family tradition. You might not always walk, but you're gonna do the tradition.
And see, we always walked. We just, and part of it was when we were young, Mom, and we lived in South Dakota. We're talking cold weather. It doesn't matter. She would just go, everybody outside and blow the stink off you. And we were just going, we're stink? But that was when we were young, everybody went outside. And with 6 kids, that's a lot of work to bundle everybody up, to everybody goes for a walk, because it's too much work for her. But she was on to something. Everybody needs fresh air. You need a tradition. We're not going to sit around here and just talk about how full we are. We're going for a walk,
Right.
And so a walk was our family tradition. Get outside, go walk, and get the stink blown off you. Then you come back, everybody's in a good mood, and you're cold, and then she might make cocoa. But we were big on the cocoa. But I think you're right. The family traditions are good. That's bowling's darling.
Yeah, I thought that was great. I might just have to crash that party.
Yeah, I
might have
think
to
you
bring my
should.
family over. Say, come on, we're gonna go compete.
The other thing that the CDC mentioned was reducing stress. And not that we have stress any other time of the year, but we do know that it does increase at the end of the year, during the holidays. For staff, you have to get down to the end of the year projects, not only at your house, but here at work. People are going on vacations, which means that you have extra work because people are going on vacations, and you're reworking everything at the house. You're getting, things ready for the holidays, extra baking, that whole thing. So any thoughts as what we can do besides taking that drink with a lot of ice?
Right.
Well, my answer is exercise.
Exercise.
That is my answer, because that does relieve stress. But what is yours, Sheri?
I think that's great. And nowadays everybody is so focused on their phones and social media and Twitter and Facebook, and I'm not into all that. But I did hear a little study yesterday, and I can't quote where that came from, but they were talking about young kids and how social media, 10 years ago there was 5 or 10% reported depression when kids were not on social media, and now it's up to like 85%, because you start looking at that social media and I'm doing something better than you, or you see somebody having fun and or a picture and you think you're missing out. So I would have to say with the stress, pause the social media. Have something in your family where you say phones down, put them in a bucket. I think we talked about this last year. There's actually a restaurant that says they give you 10% off your meal if you put your phones in a bucket and put it to the side, as long as nobody's having the phone. So they have a conversation. So I think that's really important. The other thing is focus on what you can do, not what you can't. So one of the things I've adopted recently is when I go to bed, because I surely don't get everything done, and I know the holidays are coming and we all have stuff, but before I go to bed, I actually write down 3 things I'm thankful for that day. And so my mind is clear, and I know this is something that you've done, is my mind is clear. Like, I might not have done everything perfect, but you know what? I did go here, or I did, I was able to get this done, because we can't all do it. Get rid of the perfect. Everyone's going to be happy. It's like when they all come, my mother worries all about, the house and how it's going to look. Honestly, I don't look at the house when I walk in. I look to see my mom. So I think that's a really good way. And the other really easy way is to take just some deep breaths, is just to close your eyes and just breathe in and then just breathe out, and do that 5 times. And whatever is happening for you that day, it's amazing how just that one little thing relaxes you.
You've probably read that reduces your blood pressure almost immediately. 5 deep breaths.
Yeah, and not those kind, not those kind. Not those kind.
Not those.
No, just the
nice ones.
In, and you hold it for a minute, and then you blow it out.
Second, not a minute.
You've got to do it. You've got to do it like 5 times.
Through your nose, out your mouth. Does it matter?
I just want you to breathe. The carbon dioxide does much better if you go in and out through your mouth. We tell that for a lot of people that exercise that have cramps, in through your nose and out through your mouth. That's good, but you just want to feel the air just kind of entering into your body, filling up your lungs, relaxing you, and then you breathe it out. You do that 5 times. That doesn't even take a minute, and you'll be amazed how, all right.
It calms you down.
Yeah, it's really a good, and it only takes 30 seconds. And it's so good for you.
Now, our yoga instructors would say it centers you.
Okay, I'll go with that.
It centers you, calms you down. Yeah, but it really does. Blood pressure drops in 5 breaths.
And you just feel so much better. I actually had an employee that came in to see me who was just under a tremendous amount of stress from home, and I said, "Let's just try this," and she goes, the first couple of breaths, you could tell she wasn't into it, and then after 5, she's like, "Wow, I do feel better." And I just think it's really easy to do. It doesn't cost you a penny.
Yeah, I like the breathing. I call them grateful. I try to do 5 things I'm grateful for, and I do them on my way home because I'm on my bike, and I'm like, okay, what am I grateful for? And I try not to do the same ones each and every day, but sometimes when it's dry, that's a pretty good thing to be grateful for. That's big for me, So that and I know people will say, as you said, Sheri, right before you go to bed, write it down if you need to.
Just it says it changes. They have a book on that. It changes your life because instead of going to bed worried about what you didn't get done or what you have to do tomorrow, you go to bed thinking about how grateful you are for a strong and healthy body. To have food on the table, to have healthy children, or a dry place to be. With so many things happening in the news, you can get in such a tizzy. Just to be alive is a good thing.
And sometimes I think we need, besides turning off the social media, we need to just turn off the TV.
Oh, absolutely.
And not pay attention to the news.
Well, that blue light too. Well, so you're really supposed to go to bed and not have that on. You're not even supposed to look at your phone.
For an hour before.
Yeah, at least an hour.
Shut that off. Phone. TVs, computers, at least an hour before, because it does change the brain waves.
Yep.
So it awakens them. It doesn't help you go to sleep.
So you think that when you sleep, though, that's when your body's resting. So this is one of the things that this sleep guru, and I wish I knew her name, was saying, is that when you sleep, your brain is now re-equilibrating, taking all those memories for the day and putting it away. So your brain is working. So you've got to let your brain have that time to be able to finish its job.
The other thing I was going to say, I think we don't do enough is we rush through the holidays. We rush to get to whoever house we're going to for dinner. We rush to get through dinner, and the next thing you know, it's over and done with. So if we took that break of just, as the Buddhists would say, be in the moment and take time to just go, wow, here I am. There's this person, that person. Wow, look at this food, as you mentioned, Juanita, being thankful for the food. And then the other thing, I think it's a great tradition we do at Thanksgiving is we go through everyone at the table and I say, one thing you want to be, tell us about what you're thankful for. And go from there.
It helps everybody talk. I mean, by the end of the table, everyone's like crying because you're so thankful that you're all there together.
Right, the big things.
Enjoying this.
It's a big thing.
So we're just starting Thanksgiving, but we have this whole, and we got an extra week because Thanksgiving is early this year.
Yeah.
So we have an extra week to have to deal with trying to keep the weight off because, there's that whole, I don't know if it's a myth, Sheri, about adding another 5 or 10 pounds during the holidays. Tell us.
What's those decisions that you make? It's not about the holiday, but if it's the before and it's the after. If you can control the before and the after, then you can actually enjoy your Thanksgiving Day or your Christmas Day. But to Juanita's point, doing a little exercise will help you make those better choices. I don't know if anybody's tried it, but if you exercise, you don't crave that soda after exercise. You crave water. It's an amazing thing that your body does. So,
but what you were saying, I so agree with that. You don't gain 10 pounds with one meal.
That's a big meal.
That's a big meal. It's the consistency of eating too much, too late, no exercise. That's why consistency is the key. So, like you mentioned that. Just go easy and watch what you're eating. You don't need pumpkin pie every day. You don't need your cherry pie every day. Save that for Thanksgiving.
Well, one of the tips that the handouts I gave you said was weigh yourself every day, or even better, see, Sheri says no, but
I say no too.
Even better is to put on that pair of slacks. No, you shouldn't do this. So that's what I'm wondering.
I don't personally agree with that because I just think that we have enough stress over the holidays to micromanage your weight or something. I think make smart choices. If you have two choices, make the smarter choice.
Don't eat
make the portion control.
Table. Okay.
Yeah. And then then you can restart. Don't kick yourself for what you did the day before. Restart today because it's not worth it. The big things are looking around your table, having the people that you love, being thankful that we can get together with people we love. Turn off your phone and enjoy the people. Have a conversation.
And one of those tips I did like that, and I think my grandma used to talk about that is chew your food.
Oh.
Don't just go, I'm trying this, I'm trying that, and you just don't even taste it. Take time to actually savor your food. And when you do take time, then your brain catches up with your stomach with your brain, so that within 20 minutes, if you're chewing your food and visiting and just having a wonderful time instead of snarfing, then you're not going to overeat. I mean, you'll be full, but it's not going to be like, like all of a sudden you're just hurting. Hopefully we're not going to do that. That you'll feel full after a wonderful meal, but it's not going to be because you ate everything you could in less than 2 minutes. So
all right, I'll try to remember that.
That's like kids. When they're hungry, they just snarf. But we're not there. We're not that anymore. We're not kids.
And actually, taking, say, that piece of meat, and before you stuff it into your mouth, actually looking at it, or not just meat, but food. Looking at it, maybe smelling it, and then putting it in and slow it down. So the people, like my sister was always the slowest eater. So she knew way back when, right, when she was the last at the table, what she was doing.
Well, when you take a good bite of a piece of cake or something, you put it in your mouth and you just go, and then you just savor that first bite, and then that's what you want to do with all the food that you eat. Just take time.
She does that.
She does. Okay.
She does.
I do like food.
So that's going to be Juanita's last word. What about Sheri?
Oh, I think I'm just going to focus on the stress of the holidays. I think, I honestly think, besides washing your hands, I would have to say that because of the medical provider, but put the phones away. That's really, it's always been my beef. Just put the phone away. It's not that important. Put it away.
And I would agree with that. So thank you both. We're going to be back in February for our annual Rare Red to Work Day, which Juanita is already previewing.
I was thinking, you know, from Thanksgiving to Christmas, red, but
we're okay.
I'll just wear it again.
That's funny.
And we're thrilled because Cindy Underwood was unable to join us today because they were shorthanded, but they've hired a third dietitian, and she has promised me that she will be back in November and making us some nutritious snacks.
Yummy. We love it when she's
And
here.
you know, last week she had 2 dietitian interns who sampled for us on Village in Motion. So that was kind of a preview for today's show.
Oh, nice.
So how about that? So we got her in the spirit.
Good.
So again, Sheri, Nidiffer, Juanita Kuntz, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
And